Hello, sir. Hi.
How are you?
Oh, exactly. Just as we chose to let the issue of meeting their slide for the left out of, I would say, respect. So I was letting you do your thing. You chose to now take that route.
I only made an issue of respecting by us when you made an issue of being freely associated.
I didn't make any mention of it.
I didn't make any
get to the ring. So I was happy.
I wasn't even talking to you guys. I went up to a member of the public approached me and made a comment, and I was engaged. And then you engaged me without wearing a face mask. You broke social distancing. I know, and I'm saying you broke social distancing, not wearing a mask, to enforce these health measures, putting my health in danger probably. I look forward. I look forward.
Yeah, more backwards, more
little lady, blonde lady that she's a nurse and she was she was there for the last few weeks talking on the microphone and stuff. She had her sign.
Takes like 35 bucks or something like this sweet little old lady hat.
No, it's not. Well, it is a protest. It's not anti-mask.
Identified as being infiltrated, right?
Yeah, they did. And I used to fight them on it, but then I figured and I didn't say the hotel's name. And people
Exactly. And that's the thing. And that's what the was like.
welcome any protest.
Oh, so stay home, but you can protest.
Stay home with exceptions, right? If you're following one of the exceptions, then you're not breaking the law. If you're not, then you're breaking the law.
What are the exceptions?
If you don't know the exceptions, just stay home.
Well, no, I mean, you're saying we have a right to protest. We have a right to So that means we can be here. We can be here.
They superseded the Charter Rights List and War Measures Act.
So it's interesting that you take that opinion, but our legal department in Toronto Service takes a different
Matter of opinion.
100%. You guys clearly have a different
But you're enforcing your opinion. You're enforcing your opinion with guns. But okay, we have a right to protest. We have a right to be here, right? Why did you give that guy You are the police. The police gave what they let's put it this way. Why did the police give it?
I have every nuance of information about that interaction. I know exactly what happened, but I don't know everything that happened. Any more than that guy over there is sitting over here talking. Why would I know what they were talking?
So what are these restrictions on our movement now?
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's
couple of speakers. Again, I don't have many today. And again, I don't think we want too much. We want to get on that march and get going. But I just wanted to say I'm done. I'm in a very unique point in life right now. I have been fighting poverty by living it to understand it, the depths, so we can actually make some room to grow. And that I was coming out of as lockdown happened. Today, I stand here officially as the first day where I have lost everything! I mean everything. I am going to a static address. I have just lost someone I love dearly because our relationship never had a chance. This is what's really going on in life. And so I say that very fundamentally to the powers that be. Tory, Ford, Trudeau, you know exactly who I am. You're ignoring me relentlessly for a year. I have nothing left to lose. Nothing you can take from me and everything to gain from you. So I'm popping back up. You know my routine. I'll be on the street starting next week for 2 weeks. So we're going to turn this worldwide rally into the biggest march Toronto has ever seen! Obviously, other than the Raptors, because sports matter more. But anyways, I'm going to keep it moving forward. I got a lot going in my head, and I'm just going to keep spurballing. Lucia, can you start us off?
Good afternoon, fellow Canadians and Patriots. Thank you so much for being here. I've been coming here since the beginning. And I come here for my own personal sanity because it's great to see people who care and who are ready to be arrested in order to stand up for what they believe. My name is Lucia Almeida, and I am one of many people who has suffered greatly because of this pandemic. My poor father has been in CAMH for a year. I have not been able to see him for a year. How is that mental health? I am probably preaching to the choir here, but really I'm addressing our police. Our police who hopefully care about their oath and need to listen to the stories of Torontonians. My poor mother, my poor 85-year-old mother had to deal with the CAMH going into her bank account and having my clinically insane father who has advanced dementia signed cashier's checks for $66,000. And her bank, who she's been banking with for 45 years, those banks, we know that they have a finger in everything as well, didn't even have the decency to let her know, and her electric bill started bouncing and everything else, and that's how she had to find out. She had to go to the bank and investigate. And it's normalized, you know, and it's called conspiracy theory when it's conspiracy fact. So I was inspired to I called the police this week because I'm also a musician and an artist, and all of my shows, I had the privilege of being a working artist that could do it anonymously. For an artist to be able to do that is a complete privilege. But all my shows have been canceled, and I got a ticket for rehearsing with 10 of my professional colleagues. And so I called the police to ask their advice, and I happened to tell them that story about my mother and what she went through. And they instructed me to make a report, and they were very kind and helpful. So I'm hoping that as this thing gets worse, our police stay on the people's side. And good things are happening. And it's so easy to get scared and unhappy and depressed. But you know what? This is where I live. Every religion, all indigenous cultures, even the stars talk about this time as being a huge transformation for humanity. Unfortunately, many are going to perish. But those of us who see the light and are not afraid to stand up will see a day when this is over. I see a day when the UN will come down. And the corrupt who? I see that day within, it may take a few years, but it's going to happen. And that's where I love. So my advice to you is don't give in to the fear. Do not give in to the fear, and keep talking to people. They don't want us together talking to each other. And thank you so much for being here. And I want to, last week somebody said the Our Father prayer. I'm not a religious person, but I do believe in the oneness of all humanity. And there have been certain parts of humanity that have been suppressed. And one of them is that feminine power, which can also get warped, right? Which is what we see now with our warped matriarch of a nanny state telling us that we have to stay home for our own good. But there was a prayer that was never taught, and it's the Our Mother prayer. The Our Father prayer is a prayer that's said by millions of people all over the world, billions of people. And the same Jewish sect that wrote that prayer wrote this prayer, and it was left out of our history. And I think if it hadn't been left out, it would have been a different world. And it speaks to the fact that all of life is inherently sacred and divine. Our bodies are sacred and divine. This earth is an expression of God. The fact that it can feed us and nourish us. And what pharmaceutical companies have been doing for years, and the elite have been doing for years, is disrespecting Mother Nature.
Thanks for being here. It is so important to come out and stand up for your rights. We have a constitution here, Charter of Rights and Freedoms, 1982. In it, Section 6 protects mobility rights. Very important to know this. If you're stopped or detained illegally, mention that. Say that is paramount over any illegal legislation done by the province. The Constitution is the paramount law, and the law of the Constitution needs to be followed. And of most important is Section 6 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, 1982, which protects your mobility rights. I'm a lawyer, I'm a civil litigation lawyer, and I'm out here for one reason only, because I have children, and we need to protect our rights. eroding of rights, having an illegal provincial order that allows the police to arbitrarily detain you, ask for your name, your address, and reason for being out of your house. And if at their discretion they deem it's not an essential reason, they're going to give you a huge fine, or else they have the power to detain you, arrest you, imprison you, and you could face up to 1 year in prison. I was carrying a sign that a man made over here. That man made a sign, and he got a $750 ticket for violating the Emergencies Order Act, which is illegal, because we have a constitution that's above that, that's paramount. That's a legal term. The constitution is paramount over illegal orders. So I was walking around with that sign, which was for free, and what happened? Police officer stopped me. I said, am I detained? He said, yes. I said, for what? He said, for violating the Emergency Orders Bullshit Act. He didn't say Bullshit Act. The Emergency Orders Act. And I said, I'm here to protect my constitutional rights. Section 6 under the Charter protects me, it protects my mobility, and it's paramount to your illegal order that you're protecting. In fact, you should be home. Why are you guarding a statue? Why? There's unsolved crimes that our tax dollars pay for. Why do we have a dozen police officers guarding a statue with people doing their protected right of showing up for a protest? It gets worse, it gets worse. Watch this, watch how it gets. So he tells me, you can't hold the sign or I'm gonna ticket you. So I throw the sign on the ground and I say, I'm staying here. He's like, no, you can't stay here. I said, why? He said, because there's an order, you have to be at home. I said, okay, but I'm gonna go stand in that side of the park. And I'm just gonna stay without the sign. And then his buddy, who wants to be a tough guy, of course he stands like this. They're so tough when they're in groups of 20 over there, taking away our rights and freedoms and our children's rights. You should be ashamed of yourselves. So then after that, his buddy comes up to me, all tough looking, like intimidating, trying to threaten me, telling me, if you stand there, we've warned you once, we're gonna arrest you. So what did I do? Lucky I have this, you guys don't have it. I have it. I took out my Law Society card. And what I said is exactly these words. As far as I can remember them, I'll try to mimic them, then I'm gonna end my talk. So I looked at him and I said, I'm out here exercising my rights under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, 1982, under Section 6, my mobility rights. That is paramount over this illegal legislation. Here's my Law Society card. My Law Society number is, and I said it, and I said, take a look at it. I'm just gonna go stand over there. If you choose to come and arrest me, I'm calling all my lawyer buddies so they can document this and see what you're doing. And I walked away, and here I am making this speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you.